also a flux leakage, but in
Yes.
non-ideal transformer, these all losses will not.
Okay, very good. So in the yesterday's class, we have seen the characteristics of ideal transformer and practical transformer. Ideal means there should not be any losses and there should not be any leakage in the flux. And if you take practical transformer, there will be iron loss, copper loss, and also there will be what is that leakage in the flux value. See here, many of the students still they are entering into the class. Better you uh, admit to the class very soon. For that sake, only 5 minutes time I am giving here. Still, many of the students they are joining. 40 students have joined. Fine. So in the today's, let's see. I will wait for another 2 minutes. Within that 2 minutes, all of you join immediately. Okay. So coming back to the previous, by the time I will come for explanation part, slowly one by one will start to enter the classroom here. Simply it is going to create disturbance for all of us. So I request within 5 minutes, all of you should be online classroom here. Okay. So this is practical transformer. Okay. So if you take your ideal transformer means both primary winding as well as secondary winding, they are purely inductive in nature. There will be no any resistance part. But now here we are dealing with practical transformer phasor diagram for practical transformer on load condition. Okay, we are going to connect some load is connected on secondary side, then how transformer is going to behave, that we are going to see with the help of phasor diagram. Wait for some time. Madam, hello. ಮೇಡಮ್ ಈಗ ಸರ್ ನಾ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ತೊಗೊಳ್ತೀನಿ ರೀ ಒಂದು ಹಾಂ ಹೇಳ್ರಿ. ಕನ್ವರ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಐತ್ರಿ? ಅಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಪಿ ಡಿ ಎಫ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಐತಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ನೋಡಿರಿ? ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಅಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ? ಹಾಂ, ಅಪ್ರೂವ್ ಅನ್ರಿ. ಅದು ನೀವು ಮೊದಲು ಅಪ್ರೂವ್ ಅನ್ರಿ ಮೇಡಮ್. ಹಾಂ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಈಗ ತೊಗೊಳ್ತೀನಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ. ಅಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಟೈಟಲ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು, ಪೇಪರ್ ಟೈಟಲ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬ್ಲೂ ಕಲರ್ ಕಾಣುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಹಾಂ, ಅದು ಪಿ ಡಿ ಎಫ್ ವ್ಯೂ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೈತೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಐತೇನ್ರಿ ಪಿ ಡಿ ಎಫ್? ಎಲ್ಲ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊರದ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪಿ ಐ ಡಿ ಡಿಜಿಟ್ಸ್ ಇದು ಬಂದಿರ್ತೈತಿ, ಫೈಲ್ ನೇಮ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಜಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇಟ್ಟು ಬರೀ ಫೈಲ್ ನೇಮ್ ಪಿ ಐ ಡಿ ಐತಲ್ಲ, ಪಿ ಐ ಡಿ ಇಸ್ ರಿಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ಬಿ ಎಸ್ ಟಿ ಸಿ 2020 ಪಿ ಐ ಡಿ ಜಾಗದಾಗ ಬಿ ಎಸ್ ಟಿ ಸಿ 2020 ಟೈಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದು ಉಳ್ಕಿದ್ದು ಡಿಜಿಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇರಲಿ. ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪಿ ಡಿ ಎಫ್ ಫೈಲ್ ಇದು ಏನೈತಲ್ಲ ಒಯ್ದು ಈಸಿ ಚೇರ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಅದೇನಿಲ್ಲ ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಮೇಡಮ್, ಜಸ್ಟ್ PSTC 2020 ಅಂತ ಹಾಕ್ರಿ PID ಜಾಗದಾಗ. ಇದನ್ನ ಈ ಫೈಲ್ ಒಯ್ದು ಇದ್ರಾಗ ನ್ಯೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಹಾಂ BSTC ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಸ್ ಲಾಕ್ 2020 ಡಿಜಿಟ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಇದು ಫೈಲ್ ಏನೈತಲ್ಲ ಈಸಿ ಚೇರ್ ಒಳಗೆ ನ್ಯೂ ವರ್ಷನ್ ಅಪ್ಲೋಡ್ ಐತಲ್ರಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಪ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ರಿ ಮುಗಿತು. ಓಕೆ ಮೇಡಮ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಓಕೆ. Yes, sorry for the interruption. So can you see this PPT image, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Due to an important call, I was unable to take the continuous class here. Still, how many students they are entering? All of you join immediately. Join immediately, all of you. So now we are phasor diagram for practical transformer on load condition. So this is one of the important question will be repeatedly asked every year. So here you are going to study for phasor diagram, right? So first, what is the important thing is you need to draw the circuit diagram of practical transformer, right? So you draw the circuit diagram and show all the electrical elements here. So this is my input supply voltage, primary voltage V1. Can you hear my voice, all of you?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So you need to draw the circuit diagram first and represent all the electrical elements. So this is the primary voltage V1, then primary winding resistance R1, primary reactance X1, primary current I1, and here one magnetizing branch is absent here. That magnetizing branch, it is going to have the elements like X0 and R0 in parallel. That is not indicated here. So if that magnetizing branch will be present here, then current flowing through that magnetizing, no load current I0. No load current I0 will be flowing in this direction and I flowing here in this direction, right? It will be just like your water. How I can show you this? The circuit will be of if this is your resistance and followed by this reactance, and then this will be, what is that? Here I am using paint where I'm maybe not able to draw the exact circuit diagram. Just for your explanation purpose, I'm drawing. So if this is my R1, this will be my X1. See, again students they are joining. Join immediately, all of you. And then here comes that magnetizing branch. That magnetizing branch is not shown in the circuit diagram. That magnetizing branch is like this. Okay, so if this is my primary voltage V1, this is primary resistance R1, this is primary reactance X1, and current flowing through this will be I1. Primary current is I1, and here this is magnetizing branch component resistance R0. So this is R0 and this is X0. And here current flowing through the R0 is IC. What is that IC? Yesterday we have seen. What is IC? Can you see this diagram?
No, sir. No, sir.
You are not able to see this diagram?
No, sir. No, sir.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. I will
No, sir.
here I should share that window. I will share that window, then you are able to see. Now can you see? Yes, now can you see the diagram here? Roughly I am drawing.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Just by using paint option, I am drawing the diagram here. So this is resistance R2. This is reactance X2. This is load ZL. So now in that earlier diagram, in that nodes diagram, this magnetizing branch is absent there. This magnetizing branch is this one, magnetizing branch or no load current branch. So this no load current is I0 here. Here it is I0. Let me change the color. So here this red color, whatever I have shown the downward arrow mark, that is for no load current I0. Okay, and now I will show now green color. So this green color, whatever it is showing flowing now here, so this is current I2 dash. So that is I2 dash. Then comes what? And this orange color. So this is my primary current I1. Why I am drawing this circuit diagram is just for your reference here. So see here, this is IC. IC is flowing through R0, and this pink color, no, not pink color, this lavender color. Here this the current. Here this current is IM. What is IM?
Magnetizing current, sir.
Magnetizing current. Very good. So this entire magnetizing branch component is not there. So now this circuit diagram is your, what is that? E1 and E2 I will write. So this is your E2, and here it is V1 and then I1. Okay, so now you just check this circuit diagram for practical transformer, and here you will be having current I2, and here voltage available will be V2. just this is one kind of rough diagram what I have represented here. So here V1 is the primary exciting voltage, the primary resistance of the transformer, X1 is the primary reactance of the transformer. Then here you will be finding induced voltage E1. Here there will be E1. V1 is the primary exciting voltage, primary resistance R1, primary reactance X1. Then this whole parallel branch, whatever you are seeing here, this is magnetizing branch. This magnetizing branch is not there in your diagram there. For that sake, I have taken the help of paint and I have shown this magnetizing branch here. And this magnetizing branch, it is consisting of some of the elements, right? So this magnetizing branch, it is the combination of parallel combination of R0 and X0. So this R0, whatever resistance is there, through this current flowing is this blue color IC. What is this IC? What is IC? Yesterday we have seen.
Current responsible for total loss.
Current responsible for total loss or active current. Similarly, what is this lavender color IM? IM is
Iron loss component.
magnetizing current.
Magnetizing.
That is wattless component. That is current flowing through the right. Now, if you apply KCL here, so this is my primary current I1, but this primary current I1 at this node, it is getting divided into two sections here. It is getting divided into two sections. What is that? I1 is splitting into two components. This green color component and this what is that? Red color, or whatever you can say, this red color component. So what is this red color component I have shown here? This red color component, it is denoted as I0. What is this I0? What is that I0?
No load.
No load current.
No load current.
Right. So this is my no load current. I0 is flowing here. So here there is I0 and here I2 dash. So I2 dash is nothing but current that is decided by the load, because current I2 is flowing on the secondary side. Yes or no? I2 is the secondary side current and this is decided by the load. So this active component of the load that is flowing on the primary side. So I2 dash is nothing but current that is decided by the load. Current that is decided by the load. So now you just apply KCL here to this node and you tell me what is the value of I1. Value of I1 is what here? I1 is equal to I1 is the vector sum of what? Here, what is the current it is flowing? Downward direction. I0 plus
I2 dash.
I0 plus I2 dash. So I can say that this primary current is vector sum of I0. I0 is flowing in the downward direction, that is through the magnetizing branch, and this is my I2 dash. Are you getting? All of you, this component is not there in your circuit diagram there. So for that sake, now I have taken the help of paint option and I have redrawn the circuit once again. So here there is I0 and here there is I2 dash. Are you getting, all of you? This is I0 and this is I2 dash. Once again, if you take your I0 here, this I0 current is again further divided into two components. Yes or no? What is that I0? Now if this is my I0 here, once again this I0 is equal to what? I0 is
IC plus iron.
if this is my I0, then this is IC plus vector sum of
IM.
IC plus
IM.
IM. Very good. Yes, is it clear to all of you now how we are getting this expression? So I1, it is the vector sum of I0 plus I2 dash. What is this I0? I0 is the no load current that is flowing through the magnetizing branch. Magnetizing branch is parallel combination of R0 and X0. So current flowing through R0 is IC, current flowing through X0 is IM. And then once again, what is this what is that? This I0? I0 is the vector sum of IC and IM. Is it clear, all of you? Yes, this I1 is nothing but I0 plus I2 dash. I1 is nothing but vector sum of here vector sum means this notation you have to show, you have to show. So I1 is equal to I0 plus I2 dash. Once again, what is this I0? IC plus IM. IC plus IM. I0 is nothing but vector sum of IC plus IM. Is it clear, all of you? Yes? Am I audible to you, all of you? Okay. Then comes, what is this E1? E1 is the on the primary side. So what is the relationship between E1 and V1 as per Lenge's law? Yesterday we have seen induced EMF in the primary winding, it is going to oppose to the cause. Yesterday I had told you. So what is the cause here?
V1.
So this exerting voltage is the cause and effect is the induced voltage E1. So this E1 always opposes to the injected voltage. Injected voltage is V1 here. Similarly, induced voltage on the secondary side is what? E2. Once again, this is also the cause, and sorry, once again, this is also the effect only. So this effect, once again, it is going to oppose to the cause as per the Lenge's law. So both E1 as well as E2, they are going to oppose to the cause, that is primary voltage V1. Right. Then coming to the secondary side, secondary winding, it is having its own resistance R2, it is having its own reactance X2, and this is the connected load ZL. This is the connected load ZL. This load might be resistive load R, L, or it might be C. Anything it will be. Are you getting my point, all of you? So this is the point where we are going to connect the load. It might be resistive load, inductive load, or capacitive load, and the voltage available across this will be V2. Voltage available across the load is V2, and voltage induced across the secondary side of the winding is V2, and current flowing through the load is secondary current I2. Similarly, on the primary side, primary voltage is I1. When it is what is that, reaching to the magnetizing branch, their current gets splitted up. So then current I0 will flow through the magnetizing branch, will be the current that is decided by the load. So this is I2 dash, then this is I0 equal to I0, sorry, I1 is equal to I0 plus I2 dash. I1 is equal to I0 plus I2 dash. Similarly, this I0 is equal to IC plus IM, vector sum of IC plus IM. Is it clear, all of you? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now we'll be coming back to the PPT. Is it this PPT, is it visible to you, all of you? Yes? Can you see this PPT?
No, sir.
Once again, I need to share the screen now. Where is that? Now can you see? Yes, can you see the circuit diagram now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I hope now you got the difference. That branch is absent here. Can you try the difference between the previous paint version diagram and this PPT slide diagram? What is absent here?
Magnetizing branch.
Magnetizing branch is not shown here. So that you have to incorporate all those values here. Now, first you should draw this circuit diagram, and you need to write all those parameters. What are all those values? So the various transformer parameters are R1. R1 is what? Primary winding resistance. This is my primary winding resistance. X1, primary winding reactance. That is primary leakage reactance, winding or leakage reactance. Then on the secondary side, R2 is equal to winding resistance. So transformer secondary winding, it is having its own resistance, that is resistance R2. Similarly, transformer secondary side, it is having its own reactance X2, that is X2 is equal to secondary leakage reactance. One thing you remember here, 1 stands for primary side, 2 stands for secondary side, this notation. Okay. Then ZL. What is this ZL? Load impedance. ZL is the load impedance. This load might be R, L, or C. That is resistive, inductive, or capacitive. Then comes what? Current I1. What is this current I1? Current I1 is the primary current. This current. Okay. Then comes what? Current I2. Current I2 is what? What is this current I2? Secondary current. Yes or no? Secondary current, and the same current is also flowing through the load. Same current is also flowing through the load because this is as good as series connection. So now load current IL is also equal to the secondary current I2. So I2 is equal to load current IL. Okay. Then comes what? I1. I1 is equal to what? No load current plus current decided by the load. Yes, just now we have seen this I1. If I take magnetizing branch here there will be I0 and here there will be I2 dash. Yes or no? Just now I have explained to you. Here it will be I2 dash and downwards it will be I0. So I1 is equal to downward current I0 and forward current I2 dash. I1 is equal to downward current I0 plus forward current I2 dash. Right. Then comes what? Same downward current. What is the downward current? No load current. So this no load current I0 is equal to what? Just now I have told to you. I0 is nothing but vector sum of IM and IC. IM and IC. So what is the value of IM? Yesterday we have seen in terms of I0. Yes. Value of IM in terms of I0. No load current I0.
I0 sin phi.
So IM is equal to I0 sin pi. What about IC?
I0 cos phi.
I0 cos pi. That you have to remember oftenly because that is important while solving the problems. So downward current, that is no load current I0 is the no load current. It is the vector sum of I0 and IC. And what is this I2 dash? I2 dash is nothing but the current that is decided by the load side. Current that is decided by the load side. So here you will be finding that is I2 dash. Okay, I2 apostrophe means that is a dash. I2 dash we are going to call it as. Okay. Now this I2 dash value, this is also equal to K times of I2. This forward current I2 dash which is flowing in the primary circuit, I2 dash is flowing in the primary circuit, remember. So this I2 dash, its value is K times of I2. What is this K? What is the value of K? K is nothing but what? Yes, can anybody? What is this K? What is the value of K? Any one of you, turn on your mic and answer the question. Have you studied or not in transformer? Have you come across the term K? Yes? How many of them are present for the class? Let me see here.
Turns ratio, sir.
It is turns ratio. Very good. Then why you are making so much late to answer my question?
It's N2 by N1.
So K is nothing but turns ratio, which is expressed as N2 by N1 in terms of turns. If it is given as voltage, then it will be K is equal to what?
V2 by V1.
V2 by V1. In terms of current?
I2 by I1.
No.
I1 by
in terms of current, it will be I1 by I2. So in terms of current, it will be I1 by I2. In terms of voltage, it will be V2 by V1. In terms of number of turns, it will be N2 by N1. This you have to remember. Okay. So I2 dash, which is nothing but the current that is decided by the load. So its value is also given as K times of I2. So first you draw this circuit diagram and represent all the values and say that I1 is equal to I2 dash plus I0 and I0 is equal to vector sum of IM and IC. And our second resistance R2, secondary leakage reactance X2, secondary induced EMF E2, then secondary load voltage V2, load impedance ZL, primary induced EMF E1, primary leakage reactance X1, primary resistance R1, primary current I1, primary voltage V1. All these things you have to once again rewrite the things. What all those notations they are going to represent. All those things you have to rewrite here after drawing this circuit diagram. Is it clear, all of you? Here we are speaking in general terms. Still, I don't know whether it is a resistive load or inductive load or capacitive load, but just in general, we are going to highlight that load as ZL. It is highlighted as ZL. Is it clear, all of you? Yes? Do you have any doubts? Shall I move to the next slide now? Till here, is it okay? Do you have any doubts? Yes? Okay, fine. Now, so now for this circuit diagram, you need to write the KVL equation now. So I told you that E1 always opposes to the V1. Yes or no? This is the cause. Sorry, this is the effect and this is the cause. So E1 is going to oppose to the V1. Wait for some time. Hello, madam. Okay. नम्बर क्लास थोड़ा ಅದು PID ಜಾಗದಾಗ ಬರೀ BSTC 2020 ಆಗಿರೋದು. ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಮ್ಮ BSTC 2020 ಹಾಕಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 204 205 ಈಗ ನನಗೆ ಏನಿದು ಐಡಿ ಬಂತ ನಾನು ಅದರ ಡಿಜಿಟ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕಿ BSTC ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಇದು MC ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಚೇರ್ನ ನೀವು ಹೋಗಿ ಅದು ಅಪ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮುಗಿತು BSTC 2020 ಹಾಕಿ ಅದು ಏನು ಕನ್ವರ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನು ಬರ್ತಾರೋ ಅದನ್ನ ಹಾಕಿ ನೀವು ಅಪ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಷ್ಟಾಗಿಂದ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಇದು ಅಕ್ನಾಲೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದು ಬರ್ತದೆ. So sorry for the interruption. Are you there, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So now,
Yes, sir.
so now for this circuit diagram, you need to write the KVL equation now. You need to write the KVL equation. As I told you, E1 is going to oppose to the V1. E1 is going to oppose to the E1 means here negative sign will appear, right? So for this first loop, you apply the KVL on the primary side. Similarly, on the secondary side, you apply the KVL, that is Kirchhoff's voltage law. Okay. Now let us see the things. The primary voltage V1 has three components. What is that? It is having three voltage drops. V1, it is having three voltage drops. Current I and R means what? Product of I1 and R1 means what? I and R means what is the electrical component you are getting?
Voltage, sir.
Voltage. Similarly, I and X means what? This is resistive voltage and this is the reactive voltage. This is also voltage drop. This is also voltage drop. Once again, E1 is also voltage. Yes or no? Yes?
Yes.
You are already having current I1 here. I1 into R1 is one resistive voltage drop. I1 into X1 is reactive voltage drop and induced EMF is E1. So now, since E1 is opposing to the V1, so if I apply KVL to the first primary side of the transformer loop, then V1 is equal to I1 R1 plus I1 X1, I1 R1, product of I1 R1 plus product of I1 X1. Whether now I should write plus E1 or minus E1. V1 is equal to I1 R1 plus I1 X1. But now whether I should write plus E1 or minus E1.
Minus E1.
Very good.
Minus E1.
Minus E1. Why? Because this E1 is opposing to the V1. For that sake, KVL equation for the primary side is V1 is equal to I1 R1 plus I1 X1 minus E1. Similarly, on the secondary side, if you apply the KVL here, source is E2, available voltage is V2 across the load. Yes or no? So source voltage is E2. So E2 is equal to I2 R2 plus I2 X2 plus V2. Are you getting? On the primary side, voltage equation is what here? V1 is equal to I1 R1 plus I1 X1 minus E1. Similarly, on the secondary side, voltage equation E2 is equal to I2 R2, apply KVL, product of I2 R2 plus product of I2 X2 plus voltage, that is V2. Is it clear, all of you? Just you should apply KVL here. Yes, is it clear, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now, who is that still admitting into the class? Vaishali Biradar. So, primary side, if I apply KVL, V1 is equal to I1 R1 plus I1 X1 minus E1, because E1 opposes to the V1. For that sake, I have to take minus sign here. Then on the secondary side, E2 is equal to I2 R2 plus I2 X2 plus V2. So for this KVL equation on primary as well as secondary side, for this you have to develop the phasor diagram now. For this equation, you have to develop the phasor diagram. Now you can see it. The primary voltage V1 has three components, that is minus E1, I1 R1 and I1 X1. What is this I1 R1? This is the resistive drop, the drop across the resistance in phase with current I1, because this is resistive drop means always voltage and current will be in phase. And this is which type of drop? This is also voltage quantity, but this is a reactive drop. So if it is reactive drop means this will be leading by 90 degree with respect to the current I1. So this is drop across the reactance leading current I1 by 90 degree, but whereas this is resistive drop. So I1 R1 will be in phase with I1, whereas I1 X1 will be leading to the current I1 by 90 degree. See, please don't disturb in between by joining after some time. It will be creating disturbance for all of us here. So your primary side voltage V1 is having three components, minus C1, I1 R1, I1 X1. So V1 is equal to I1 R1 plus I1 X1 minus C1. So current I1 is common here. So I1 into R1 plus X1, I1 into R1 plus X1. So what is the combination of R and X? Sum of R and X is what? R and X is nothing but impedance. So V1 is equal to minus C1 plus I1 Z1. So R and X, if I take its resultant, then it will be impedance. Similarly, on the secondary side, if I apply the KVL, then what is the voltage equation? As we have seen, E2 is equal to V2. This is load terminal voltage plus I2 R2 plus I2 X2. So this is resistive secondary drop. This is reactive secondary drop. This is the terminal voltage which is available across the load. And this is the secondary induced EMF. So E2 is equal to V2 plus I2 R2 plus I2 X2. Right. And if I take this V2 on the left hand side, so and this I will take E2 on the right hand side now. So now on rearranging this equation, so V2 is equal to E2 minus I2 into R2 plus GX2. Once again, what is this R2 plus GX2? It is impedance Z2, secondary impedance Z2. So now load terminal voltage V2 is equal to total available voltage E2 minus drop across resistance, secondary resistance and secondary reactance. So load terminal voltage V2 is equal to total voltage minus drop across resistance drop across secondary resistance and drop across secondary reactance. Is it clear, all of you? Yes?
Sir, why magnetic circuit is only in primary circuit?
Yes. Which one? Which
magnetic circuit, sir?
Magnetic circuit here, it is this magnetic circuit, it is going to generate, it is going to provide the link between primary and secondary. Remember, transformer is a magnetic circuit because what it will do, it is made to operate based on mutual induction. Yes or no? There is no any electric.
Sir,
yes.
He asking magnetic branch, sir.
Okay. Magnetic branch here we have not shown, just for your simplicity. If I add that magnetizing branch, no, then simply it is going to create confusion for the students. For that sake, we have not shown magnetizing branch here. But I have shown all the things in paint option, where that magnetizing branch will appear. But that magnetizing branch you are going to see once I start equivalent circuit concept. Don't worry. If I add that magnetizing branch here, if I say, then simply it will become complex for the students to understand. Are you getting my point? We are trying to minimize the complexity for the students here. For that sake, we are not highlighting that magnetizing branch here. But whatever currents that is flowing through the magnetizing branch, that we are going to consider here. That is I1 is equal to I0 plus I2 dash. You may ask the question, very good. Sir, where is that I0 and I2 dash? I0 is flowing through the magnetizing branch and I2 dash is the next forward current. Are you getting my point? Just for making the things more easier, we are not showing that magnetizing branch. If I show that magnetizing branch here, then simply it is going to create problem while analyzing the circuit. Are you getting? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So now this is the KVL equation, primary voltage on the primary side, and this is the secondary voltage on the secondary side. V1 is equal to minus E1 plus I1 into R1 plus I1 into X1. Similarly, load voltage V2 is equal to total secondary induced EMF voltage E2 minus drop across secondary reactance. Now for this equation and for this equation, you have to develop the phasor diagram depending upon the connected load. Till here, is it clear all of you? How we are getting this KVL equation, primary and secondary side? So you should draw the circuit diagram and represent all the things here, and you write the KVL equation. V1 is equal to minus E1 plus I1 R1 plus I1 X1. I1 R1 plus I1 X1 is nothing but I1 Z1. Similarly, E2 is equal to I2 R2 plus I2 X2 plus V2, or otherwise load terminal voltage V2 is equal to total voltage E2 minus of this drop. So E2 is equal to E2 minus I2 R2 minus I2 X2, or otherwise V2 is equal to E2 minus I2 into Z2, because R and X is nothing but Z. Yes or no? So just for this, we have written the KVL equation, primary side, secondary side. Is it clear all of you now? Yes? Shall I start to explain phasor diagram?
Yes, sir.
Three different types of load now. Now we are going to draw the phasor diagram for three different types of the load. So here in general we have shown load as ZL. So now this load might be R or L or C. Are you getting? The load might be resistive load or inductive load or capacitive load. For three different loads, we will draw three different phasor diagrams now. Let us see what are the rules for drawing that phasor diagram. So I hope you understood how to write this KVL equation primary side, KVL equation on secondary side, and for these equations only we have to develop the phasor diagram if it is resistive or inductive or capacitive load. First we are taking case 1. Case 1 is what? Suppose if the connected load is resistive in nature. Resistive in nature means what type of load it is? Unity power factor. Unity power factor means power factor angle between voltage and current is 0. If current angle is 0, what is that? Power factor angle is 0. Cos 0 is what? Cosine of 0 is 1. So in the case of resistive load, the power factor angle between voltage and current is 0. It means that both voltage and current phasor, they are coinciding with each other. If they coincide with each other, then angle between V and I will be 0. If that is 0, then cos of 0 is nothing but 1. If it is 1, means it is unity power factor load. So first we are going to discuss by taking the example of unity power factor or resistive load. Now before going to draw that phasor diagram, you need to consider some of the basic things here. So to draw this phasor diagram, so this is the phasor diagram for your resistive load or unity power factor load. Let us see the rules for drawing this phasor diagram. Case 1 is UPF, resistive load. So now, as load power factor is unity, the load, the voltage V2 and secondary current I2 are in phase. Always remember, Here we are connecting the load on the secondary side. Yes or no? So if we are connecting the load on secondary side, means we need to consider secondary transformer parameters. Secondary side transformer parameters. So which are the secondary side transformer parameters? That is secondary load voltage V2 and secondary current I2, because these are only the things that are present for the connected load, for the connected resistive load. Where you are going to connect the load here, you can see. Here I will connect now resistive load R. So in place of ZL, replace this by resistive load. And this R, it is having which all components? It is having voltage V2 and same it is having current I2. So this resistive load R, if I take here in place of ZL, if I take R, it is attached with two electrical components. What is that? Voltage V2 and current I2. Voltage V2 and current I2. And whenever they are going to pass through this resistive element, since it is resistive in nature, then power factor angle will be 0. That is voltage phasor V2 and phasor I2. Both phasor will coincide with each other. If both are coinciding with each other, then angle between the two, that is I2 and V2 will be 0. So cos 0 is 1. So now your R resistive load, it is having two components attached with it, that is I2 and V2. So we need to consider this I2 and V2. Okay. As load power factor is unity, the voltage V2 and I2 are in phase. Steps to draw the phasor diagram are. So in the exam, when they ask this question, no, don't write all these steps. Whatever first, what you are supposed to do, first you should draw this phasor diagram, this circuit diagram, and then you write straight away this equation and this equation. Straight away, what you can do, in case 1, phasor diagram for resistive load, and directly you can draw this diagram. Don't write all these steps. These steps are just for your understanding purpose. First time when you are studying, no, you may not understand how to draw this phasor diagram. For that sake, just directions are given here, how to draw that phasor diagram. So don't write all these steps. These are not necessary. Just that circuit diagram, notations, KVL equation, directly you can draw this phasor diagram. Don't write all these steps. These steps are just for your understanding purpose, how to draw this phasor diagram. Okay. Now, as load power factor is unity, voltage V2 and current I2 are in phase. Steps to draw the phasor diagram are: first one, consider flux pi as reference. So first step is what? I should consider flux pi as reference. So this x-axis I should take it as flux pi, and this will be my reference. So this is flux pi. This is my reference. Okay. In the yesterday's phasor diagram for ideal transformer also, we have taken same flux pi as reference. Yes or no? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yesterday, they are also taken flux pi as reference only. Okay. Then next is what? E1 lags pi by 90 degree. E1 lags pi by 90 degree. So that is, if this is my pi, then what is this E1? I should, as per this rule, E1 should lag to pi by 90 degree. Then I should take E1 to this direction. E1 I should take to this direction. Understood? Then wait for something. I'm taking class. Then comes what? E1 lags pi by 90 degree. Then comes reverse E1 to get minus E1. So now here what I said, consider flux pi as a reference. This pi I have to take it as a reference. Then E1 lags pi by 90 degree means E1, if this is my E1, it is lagging to the pi by angle of 90 degree, right? Then reverse E1 to get minus E1. So now if this is my E1, I should take reverse of that. If I reverse it, then this becomes what? Minus E1. Flux pi is reference. E1 lags to pi by 90 degree. If I reverse E1, then it will become minus E1. If I reverse E1, then it becomes minus E1. Then comes what? Next step number 3. E1 and E2 are in phase. It is very similar to yesterday's ideal transformer case. E1 in the ideal transformer also, both primary induced EMF and secondary induced EMF, they are in phase. So if this is my E1, in the same direction you can show for E2 also. E1 and E2, they are in phase. Then comes what? Step number 4. Is it clear all of you? Step number 2, step number 3. Step number 1 is take flux pi as reference. Step number 2 is what? E1 lags pi by 90 degrees. So if this is my E1, if this is my pi, 90 degree lagging means here direction will be your E1, and E1 and E2 are in phase. E1 and E2 are in phase. If I reverse E1, then this will be my minus E1. Is it clear all of you? Step number 1, 2 and 3. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Coming to the step number 4. Assume V2 in particular direction. What is this V2? What is this V2? Why we are taking V2 now?
Because we are connecting loads.
Okay, we are connecting load on the secondary side, but what is that V2 is going to indicate? Yes. V2 is nothing but the voltage that is available across the load. Yes or no? This is the voltage that is available across the load. So now assume V2 in a particular direction. Always remember, for the connected load, the related parameters are I2 and V2. I2 and V2. Remember, I2 and V2. Okay. So now assume V2 in a particular direction. So now what I will do, I will assume V2 in this direction. I will assume V2 in this direction. Okay. Then I2 is in phase with V2. So here we are saying that V2 and I2 are in phase. Why they are in phase? Because it is resistive load. If it is resistive load, means both will be coinciding with each other. So if I assume V2 in this direction, since it is resistive load, so in the same direction I2 is also present. I2 is in phase with, step number 5 is what? I2 is in phase with V2. So if this is my V2 direction, assumed direction, in the same direction I will show for I2 also. Why? Because it is resistive load where both V2 and I2 will coincide with each other. Next, add I2R2 and I2X2 to get E2. So now you have to develop the phasor diagram for what is that? This equation. This is for this equation you have to develop the phasor diagram. What is that? V2 plus I2R2 plus I2X2. What is this equation? Where on which side you are getting? Secondary induced EMF E2 is equal to load voltage V2 plus I2R2 plus I2X2. Where you are getting this equation? On which side? Primary side or secondary side?
Secondary side.
Secondary side. So to get this secondary induced EMF E2, I should add vector sum of V2, I should add I2R2, I should add I2X2. If I add all these three parameters, then I will be getting secondary induced EMF E2. Secondary induced EMF E2. Where is that E2? Here, this is that. E2 is equal to I2R2 plus I2X2 plus V2. If I add all these three components, then I will be getting E2. So now, how these things they are connected? Their relationship is shown using phasor diagram here. Okay. So I have assumed V2 in this direction and I2 is also in the same direction because it is resistive in nature. Now already V2 is there with me. Already I am having V2. So to get E2, already I am having V2 with me. Still, what all things I should add? I should add I2R2, I should add I2X2. If I add I2X2 and I2R2 to V2, then I will get what? I will get what? E2, right? So already V2 I have shown here. So in the same direction I will show for I2R2 also. What is this I2R2? This is the resistive drop. So to show this I2R2, I have to take the current direction of I2. This is my current direction. I2 means in the same direction we have to show I2R2 also, because this is resistive drop. This is resistive drop. Resistive drop means always this will be in phase with the current. What is current here? I2. Here also this is current direction I2. So whatever current direction of I2 will be there, in the same direction you have to show for resistive drop I2R2, because this is resistive drop where angle between this and I2 will be 0. So in the same direction you have to show I2R2. So I got V2, I got I2R2. What is remaining now? What is remaining?
I2X2.
I
I2X.
got,
I2X2.
I added V2, I added I2R2. Remaining is I2X2. I2X2 is reactive drop. Reactive drop means it will be leading 90 degree with I1. So if with I2, if this is my I2, then I should show for I2X2. So this vector is my I2X2. So this is my I2X2, and this will be exactly 90 degree leading with respect to current I2. It is exactly leading I2 by an angle of 90 degrees. So now V2 is present, I2R2 is present, I2X2 is present. So if I add V2, I2R2, I2X2, then what will be the resultant? Resultant will be, what is this?
E2.
E2. Huh?
E2, sir, E2.
E2. Resultant will be E2. Yes or no? So add I2R2, add I2X2 to get E2. So from the tip of the V2, I will represent I2R2. I2R2, how I have to show? I have to track the direction of current I2. So if current direction is I2 here, in the same direction you show for I2R2, because this is resistive drop. Remaining is I2X2. I2X2 means reactive drop. 90 degree it will be leading. So V2, I2R2, I2X2, this will give resultant will be E2. So your secondary side KVL equation work is over now. Next step is step number 7. Reverse I2 to get I2 dash. So where is my I2? This is my I2. Secondary current I2. So if I reverse means anti-phase we have to take. With the same length we have to take. So if this is my I2, then this will be my I2 dash. I2, where is that? Reverse I2 to get I2 dash. So now reverse I have to take. So if I take its reverse direction, then it becomes I2 dash. Right, then add I0 and I2 dash to get I1. So in the yesterday's phasor diagram we have seen, for practical transformer, this is my pi, this is my I0. So vector sum of I2 dash and I0 is what? Just now I have told you. Vector sum of I0 and I2 dash is what? On the primary side. Primary side you are having primary current I1, but when it is passing through the magnetizing branch, it is split into two components. One is I0 and another is I0 I2 dash. Yes or no? So vector sum of I2 dash and I0 is what? Yes. Vector
I1.
sum of I1. Yes or no? So take antiphase of I2. This will be I2 dash, and this is my no load current I0. So if I take the vector sum of I2 dash and I0, then this will be my primary current. Is it clear? Reverse I2 to get I2 dash. Then step number 8 is add I0 and I2 dash to get I1. Add I0 and I2 dash to get I1. Then step number 9, add I1 R1, and here one thing, I1 X1 is missing here. Add I1 R1 comma I1 X1 it should be. 2 minus C1 to get V1. I1 X1 is not printed here. So add I1 R1 comma I1 X1. So where is my I1 R? So if this is my minus C1, reverse of E1 is what? Minus C1. And from the tip of minus C1, I have to show for I1 R1. I have to show for I1 R1. If you are getting confused, means no. So that its bottom side phasor diagram is for KVL equation on the secondary side. What is that? E2 is equal to V2 plus I2Z2. So this equation, for this equation, the phasor diagram is this one, this bottom side. This whole entire bottom side phasor diagram is for secondary side KVL equation. What is that? Now, our next task is we have to develop the phasor diagram for KVL equation which you have written for primary side. On the primary side, what is that? V1 is equal to I1 R1 plus I1 X1 minus C1. If I add I1 R1, I1 X1 to minus C1, then I am getting what? Then I will get what?
V1.
V1. Yes or no? So
V1.
already we are having minus E1. Now for this minus E1, you first add I1 R1, then you add I1 X1. So the resultant of all the three is what? V1. So for this, we have already taken the antiphase of E1, that is minus E1 is here. So from the tip of minus E1, you first show for I1 R1. So how to draw this I1 R1? So this is the resist. This is resist to drop means first. Now what I have to do? I have to check the direction of the current I1. Where is my current I1? This is my current I1. Yes or no? So now to draw this I1 R1, I should draw the line. This line should be in parallel with the current I1, because this is current drop I1 R1. Sorry, resist to drop I1 R1 means this current I1 wherever it will be there in line with in parallel with that only we have to show for I1 R1 drop. So if this is my current I1, then in the same direction we have to show for I1 R1. So minus E1 I got, I1 R1 I got. What is remaining now? What is remaining?
I1 X1.
I1 X1.
I1 X1.
So I1 X1 means this is reactive drop. Reactive drop means this is the voltage which will lead to the current by 90 degree. So now if this is my I1, so perpendicular to that will be what? This will be your I1 X1, which will be exactly 90 degree. Minus E1, I1 R1, I1 X1. So if I add minus E1, I1 R1, I1 X1, then I will be getting what? I will be getting this
V1.
This line. This line is your V1. And this dash line is what here? Combination of R, combination of X. What is that?
Impedance.
R and X impedance drop. So this is I1 R1 and this is I1 X1. So its combination is this dotted line, that is I1 Z1. Similarly on this side, this is your I2 R2 and this is your I2 X2. Its combination is what? Dotted line I2 Z2. So this is going to represent KVL equation on the primary side phasor diagram. This will represent phasor KVL equation on the secondary side phasor diagram. So this is what is that? V1 is equal to minus E1 plus I1 R1 plus I1 X1. Similarly, this E2 is equal to I2 X2 plus I2 R2 plus V2. And what is this side? This branch is what? I1 is equal to I0 plus I2 dash. I1 is equal to I0 plus I2 dash. Is it clear, all of you? Yes?
I see.
What you can do is just you follow these steps. Accordingly, you trace all that phasor diagram. For the first instant, you feel somewhat difficult or somewhat confused, but don't worry. Just you read these steps and accordingly you analyze this phasor diagram. Then you will come to know. Prasanna, just wait for 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. So just to go through all those things one by one as per these given steps. And this is the phasor diagram for your which type of load? Case 1 resistive load. Then comes what? How your phasor diagram will look if it is what is that? Inductive load. See here, what you can do, directly write case 1 phasor diagram for resistive load. Directly you can draw this one. Don't write all these steps. This is just for your reference. Similarly, then you go for case 2 inductive load. Inductive load, then you can draw this diagram. So to draw this diagram also same steps you have to follow. What is my step number 1? Take flux as reference. Connected load is what here? Lagging inductive load. Take step number 1 is flux as reference. E1 lags. E1 lags pi by what angle? E1 lags pi by what?
90 degree.
90 degree. E1 antiphase is minus E1. Just according to those 9 steps only. Then E1 and E2 are in phase. E1 and E2 are in phase. Is it clear till here? Next, assume V2 in one particular direction. What is this V2? Load terminal voltage. Assume V2 in one particular direction. Till here it is same. Next, your phasor diagram will start to change from this point. What is the type of load here? Lagging load. Yes or no? Inductive load. For the inductive load, always current lags behind the voltage. What is my current? Current is I2. So now current I2 lags behind voltage V2. So now if this is my assumed direction of V2, So this will lead to the current I2, or I2 will lag behind the voltage by an angle of pi2. But in the previous case, both this V2 and I2, what is the relation there? In the previous case, both they are in phase. Angle pi2 is 0 in the earlier case, but now it is connected load is inductive in nature. So now I2 lags behind the voltage by an angle of pi2. So this is my V2. So from the tip of V2, you show resistive drop I2 R2. So how to show this resistive drop I2 R2? What I should, how to check the direction of I2 R2?
Parallel to I2.
Parallel to current I2. Very good. So here, if it is resistive drop I2 R2 means I should check what is the direction of I2. If this is my current direction I2 R2, in the same direction I should draw parallel line I2 R2, then 90 degree I2 X2. Combination of R and X is this dotted line I2 Z2. So V2 I2 R2 I2 X2. Its resultant is what here? Resultant is
E2.
E2. So this is my phasor diagram for secondary side. Then next step is what? Take antiphase of I2. Antiphase of I2 is I2 dash, and this will be my I0. So vector sum of I2 dash and I0 is what? Vector sum of I0 and I1. Then already I am having minus now. This is my secondary side KVL equation. This is my magnetizing branch current. Sorry, primary current I1 is equal to I2 dash and I0. Remaining is primary side KVL equation phasor diagram. So already I am having minus E1 with me. Then what I should draw? I should draw for I1 R1. So to draw this I1 R1, which direction I should check now?
Parallel to I1.
Parallel to I1. So this is my I1 means this will be your I1 R1. Then comes I1 X1. So combination of R and X is this dotted line, that is I1 Z1. So if I take the addition of minus E1, I1 R1, I1 X1, then that will be what?
V1.
V1 is equal to minus E1, I1 R1, I1 X1. And now you should also show the phasor diagram of angle. So the angle between phasor V1 and I1. This is my I1 and this is my V1. Angle between V1 and I1 is pi1. This is primary side power factor angle. Are you getting? And angle between V2 and I2 have to show it as pi2. But in the earlier case, V2 and I2 both are in phase here, 0 here. But here also you have to show for pi1. The angle between V1 and I1 is pi1. Is it clear, all of you? So this is for first case resistive load, this is inductive load. Case 3 is leading power factor, that is capacitive load. Is it clear? Now shall I move to the third case? Yes?
Yes, sir.
So whenever you are going to draw the phasor diagram, you have to show all these things and you have to write this KVL equation also. This V2 is equal to I2, E2 is equal to V2 plus I2 R2 plus I2 X2 or I2 Z2. And here this top side for phasor diagram is for what? V1 is equal to minus E1 plus I1 R1 plus I1 X1. R and X is nothing but Z. And this is for I1 is equal to I0 plus I2 dash. Is it clear? For all the three diagrams, you need to write the equations there. Then last case is what if the connected load is capacitive, right? So if it is capacitive, what will be the relationship between voltage and current? Current leads the voltage or current lags? Current leads the voltage. Now let us see the things step by step. First step is what? Take flux pi as reference. Then E1 lags pi by angle of 90 degree. E1 and E2 are in phase. Take antiphase of E1, that is minus E1. Till here it is common. Then assume V2 in one particular direction. So now we are assuming V2 in one particular direction. Now comes what is the type of connected load. What is the type of connected load here? Yes?
Capacitive load.
Capacitive load. Who said resistive? Huh? Are you there? Here we are discussing with the capacitive load now. So first step is take flux pi as a reference. Then assume, E1 lags to step number 2. E1 lags to pi by an angle of 90 degree. And phase of E1 is minus E1. Then E1 and E2 are in phase, means same direction. Then comes assume V2 in one particular direction. Now comes your connected load. Connected load is capacitive in nature. So in the capacitive load, always current leads to the voltage. So current leads to the voltage. Why we are dealing with the V2 and I2 direction is because these are only the parameters that are flowing through the load. Load is connected on the secondary side. Yes or no? On the secondary side, there is a load terminal voltage V2 and there is a load current I2. So we have to shift this phasors only, that is I2 and V2. Okay, almost all your upper portion will remain same. Only diagram will change at the bottom side. Bottom side means where you are connecting the load, right? So assume V2 in one particular direction and connected load is inductive in capacitive in nature. For capacitive load, always current leads to the voltage. So current will be forward and voltage will be backward. And what is the angle between current and voltage here? And what is the angle between current and voltage?
Pi 2.
Pi 2.
Pi 2. Pi 2. Okay. Now you can develop the diagram. So already you are having V2 with you. You are having voltage V2 with you. Then you add voltage. What is that? Voltage drops. First, I will take for I2R2. I2R2. So to show this I2R2, which direction I should check? I should check the direction of current I2. This is my current direction I2. So for this line, in parallel to that, this will be your I2R2. Then 90 degree, that will be I2X2. Then V2, vector sum of V2, vector sum of I2R2, vector sum of I2X2 will be what? It will be E2. And this dash line is what? Combination of I2R2 plus combination of I2X2, that is I2Z2. Clear all of you? Yes? Then take antiphase of I2. If I take antiphase of I2, this will be I2 dash, and here will be my no load current I0. Vector sum of I0 and I2 dash is I1. So for this diagram, you should write here I1 is equal to I0 plus I2 dash, and here you should write what is that? E2 is equal to V2 plus I2R2 plus I2X2 or I2 V2 plus I2R2, sorry, I2Z2, because Z is nothing but R and X combination. Then remaining is what? Primary side voltage equation. Already I am having E1 minus E1 with me. What else I should add? I should add I1R1 and I1X1. So from the tip of minus E1, you add for I1R1. So how to decide the direction of I1R1? I should check the direction of what? Current
I1.
Current I1. So this is my current I1. So parallel to this, I have to show for I1R1. Then I should show 90 degree leading, that is I1X1. So minus E1 vector sum I1R1 and X1. That will be what? That will be
V1.
V1. And this dash line is what here? It is the combination of I1R1 plus I1X1. And the angle between V1, this is my V1, and angle between I1. So angle between V1 and I1 is pi 1. Similarly, if at all you want to show, you can also show one more power factor angle. What is that? Angle between V1 and I0. This is my I0, no load primary current, no load current on the primary side. So the angle between this I0 and V1, that will be pi 0. That is no load power factor. Similarly, the angle between V1 and I1 is pi 1. Angle between V1 and I0 is pi 0. Similarly, angle between V2 and I2 is pi 2. All these things you are supposed to write. So is it clear, all of you? Do you have any doubts? Yes? Is it clear, all of you? See, don't hesitate to ask the doubts.
Yes,
If you are
sir.
having any doubts, you are feel free to ask the questions. Is it clear, all of you? So this is one of the important questions which will be repeatedly asked in the exam. So in the examination, the question will be like, draw the phasor diagram of a transformer on load for leading, lagging and unity power factor load. So if that is the question, first you should draw this circuit diagram, then write all these parameters. Followed by that, write you this KVL equation on primary side, KVL equation on secondary side, and for these KVL equation, you need to write the phasor diagram. You need to write the phasor diagram. Case 1, resistive load or unity power factor load, cos pi 2 is equal to 1. Just you write this much and draw this phasor diagram. So while drawing the phasor diagram, you need to highlight all these notations here. So this is for I1 is equal to I0 plus I2, I0 plus I2 dash, and this is for what is that? E2 is equal to V2 plus I2 R2 plus I2 X2, or E2 is equal to V2 plus I2 Z2, and this is for V2 is V1 is equal to minus E1 plus I1 R1 plus I1 X1. So if you check all the three diagrams, case 1 this diagram, case 2 inductive load cos phi 2 lagging, then draw this diagram, then case 3 capacity load, that is leading power factor cos phi 2, write this equation, write this phasor diagram and write all these equations. So if you check all the three diagrams, what is the similarity you can find? This is for R, this is for L, and this is for C. If you check all the three diagrams, this top side of the phasor diagram, this part, primary side KVL equation and current I1 is equal to I2 dash and I0, this will be almost same, yes or no? This is same.
Yes, sir.
Here also it is same. Here also it is same. Where you are going to find the difference? Only at the bottom side. Bottom side means these are secondary side parameters. Secondary side means what? Why you are finding difference on the secondary, on the bottom side?
Because
Here
the
almost-
loads are different.
Because these are all secondary side parameters, and on the secondary side we are connecting the load, yes or no? And here we are changing the load, that is R to L to C. Whatever may be the load you are changing, you are finding that phasor diagram is changing depending upon the connected load on the bottom side of the phasor diagram. This is for resistive load, this is for inductive load, and this is for capacitive load. Whereas if you take your upper portion of the phasor diagram, this is almost all same only. Only depending on the load. Load parameters are secondary side parameters. Secondary side parameters are decided by bottom side of your phasor diagram. So only on the base or at the bottom side, there is a change in the phasor diagram. What you can notice the difference, yes or no? So after drawing the phasor diagram, right, this portion is for V2 is equal to this. This portion is for I1 is equal to I0 plus I2 dash, and this portion is for V1 is equal to minus E1 plus I1 R1 plus I1 X1. So all these things you should write. Is it clear, all of you? Yes? Any one of you answer my question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so today what you can do, once again you go through whatever I have discussed in the class now, draw this phasor diagram, and then you slowly analyze the phasor diagram as per the steps, and just you redraw the things once again. Once you understand the concept, then you can draw the phasor diagram very easily. Okay, so today your assignment is, all you need to read this phasor diagram concept, and you need to draw the phasor diagram on your own. Can you do this one today?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So this is one of the important question which will be asked for 6 to 8 marks in the final exam. Okay. And I hope this already was studied in basic electrical. Yes or no? Have you studied this phasor diagram in basic
Yes,
electrical transfer? The same topic only it is. And I think it is repeated for your TG subject here. So today, all of you read this concept and try to analyze the concept and draw the phasor diagram. Will you do this today?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So listen here, one more thing. Tomorrow I am having exam duty. I hope my TG class is 3rd hour tomorrow. Yes.
Yes, sir.
So tomorrow I may not engage your TG class in the regular timetable schedule, because I am having what is that, exam duty. For that sake only, for tomorrow's class I have taken today. If possible, I may engage your class tomorrow only after 2 o'clock, like 3 p.m. only, or else I may not engage. So tomorrow's class I have taken well in advance today. Okay. So today what you can do, just to go through this concept and try to draw this phasor diagram once again. Is it okay, all of you? So tomorrow I may not engage your TG class in the regular intervals. In my place, some other faculty, they may engage TG class. I may engage, I may not engage. If at all I may engage your class after 2 p.m. only tomorrow. Okay. Well, in advance, I have taken tomorrow's class today itself. Okay. Have a good day. Okay. All of you go through this concept today.